Hey everyone, it's Reagan Black. I'm back with some more writing tips and advice and just some general inspiration for your writing journey. And I wanted to talk today about being brave and what that means in our writing life. You know, sometimes it's not just about being brave with our topic or being brave and honest on the page about our experiences and what we've been through. Sometimes we get a little resistance, we get a little pushback when we know we're on the verge of a great message or thought, or we really feel a breakthrough. We kind of shrink back from it, you know, and oh no, what if? We play this mental what if game in a bad way. And I really want to encourage you when that happens to just take a breath, you know, learn to recognize that moment of resistance where you're writing and you're like, oh no, I just can't go there. Think about it as just play a game with yourself. What if I do go there? What happens? Let's just see what happens. And just pause for a second rather than pull back and go in a safe direction with those words. Think about just pausing, taking a big breath, and thinking cannonball. Like, you know, I don't know if you did that when you were a kid, that first cannonball of pool season when you just ran and just with abandon leaped and just jumped right in, okay? Think about it like that. So when you feel like you're coming up against a resistance and you'd really rather go somewhere familiar, instead, pause, take a deep breath, think about running with all your might and just jumping in, just dive into it, just do that whole cannonball feel and see where those words take you. I know for me, a lot of times it's really kind of hard, you know, in any point, you know, if I'm working with a character that I'm not sure anybody will like, or if I'm kind of, you know, how bad can I make the villain? How flawed can I make the hero? And, you know, or even with a topic, you know, how honest do people really want me to be with stuff, right? And I think honesty and integrity comes through on that page, and it's part of our heart and what we share with our reader. And I would just encourage you when you find yourself butting up against that, oh, I'll take the safe way, I'll backpedal, I'll soften that a little bit. I encourage you to just be brave. Take that breath and think about jumping into that topic or that scene or that emotion like when you were a kid with that just sheer abandonment and joy of just running and doing that first cannonball of the season into the pool or the lake or whatever it was. Just that image, that whatever gave you that exhilaration, think about that and press forward. And another aspect about being brave, and this was very true for me early in my career, is I worried about rejection and reaction. Pardon my, we have a little guest puppy here and she's watching things outside, so the little sound effects are her. She's my guest writing assistant this week. But I want you to think about why you're afraid. You know, if you find yourself butting up against that, oh, I should backpedal, I should soften it, I shouldn't go this way or the other, I want you to think about why. If you're, you know, early in my career, I was quite concerned about the reaction I would get from people who knew me. You know, oh gosh, I never knew she went through that. Or, oh gosh, where did that idea come from? And oh my goodness, she's got some really dark thoughts in her head. I was worried about the reaction. And we really aren't fair to ourselves, our writing, or our readership if we backpedal based on that fear of reaction. Okay, so you really need to be brave in those moments. It's really not up to you how your reader feels, whoever that reader is. You know, I thought my grandmother would hate my first published books. You know, they were futuristic thrillers, they were very dark themes. And I was like, oh, she's not going to like these. And you know what? She was one of my biggest fans. And she loved them because she appreciated the writing and she appreciated the storytelling. And I think she was just delighted that some of her writing talent, skill, gift, whatever you want to call it, just urge was passed down and to me. I think that made her proud no matter what I was writing. She was very proud of all of my work. And I shouldn't have been afraid of her reaction, but I didn't know that till after the fact. It's part of the growth thing. So when you feel that urge to pull back, ask yourself why. Are you worried about a reaction from a family or friend or supporters, people who know you? It's really not up to you how they feel about your work, okay? It's your job to tell the best story, deliver the best message, the best way you know how, okay? So be brave in those moments. And it takes time and it takes practice, and sometimes it takes a real good editor to help you over those humps. One of the phrases an editor used with me once was, let's unpack this a little bit more. And there were several moments in that particular book where I had come really close to emotion and backpedaled. And she made me go that extra mile. And it made all the difference in the story. And readers enjoyed it. Okay? So ask yourself if the reason you're backpedaling is because you're afraid of reaction. The next thing is sometimes we soften it. We're not sure where we want to go, or we take the safer route because we're afraid of rejection as a whole from the publishing industry, from the readership, from whatever. We're afraid of rejection, that the book won't make the cut if we go the way we want to take the story. And that's another way that you're just selling yourself short. And it's very important in those moments to be brave. And it takes practice. It takes practice. It takes time to get over that, to let that go. And the only way to do it is to be brave in those writing moments, to take the risk with your writing if you want it published, or if you want to share it, however you want to share it. That there's a risk involved there. You need to be brave again. And those steps will reinforce and encourage you to be brave again the next time. Understanding that the world isn't really going to end if you take those chances, or that those chances were very well received. Those are important things that we just get through by doing. Okay? So a lot of people will say, oh, be brave, get out there and do it. And it's not always easy. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but it is definitely a very worthwhile thing to do. Okay, so think about that. And when you come close, don't shrink back. When you feel yourself shrinking back, that's the time when you've really got to just buckle down and write. And one of the phrases I learned, I can't even remember who said it. I'll have to go back and look it up. But there are moments in every book where it was a phrase in somewhere along my writing journey, someone said this to me, or I read it, as part of my ongoing education. And there's a moment when you just have to let the words come to you. Okay, and that's also another factor of bravery, is if you feel yourself shrinking back, if the cannonball into the pool image isn't working for you, just take another breath, rest, think about it, and just let the words come to you. You've just got to let that come to you. And sometimes that takes just being quiet in that moment, just being still and not fighting it, not protecting yourself from whatever fear is going on. That's another great way to be brave, is to let the story or the message or the sentence or the word or whatever it is in that moment, let it come to you. Okay? And that puts us in a very receptive place, and that may sound a little woo-woo and out there, but it's true. If you can be still and just relax and not overthink it, a lot of times you'll get through those blocks of fear, whatever the fear is rooted in. You'll get through those blocks of, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And you'll find that the story really flows, or the message really flows. It works nonfiction and fiction alike. And I have those moments where I find myself fighting it a little bit, and I just remember I have to let it come to me. And I take that step back and then let the words carry me forward. I hope that makes sense to you today. I hope you get some value out of that. You can always visit my website for more inspiration for your writing journey. There are several books, several videos right here on YouTube for you as well.